4 movies this weekend. 4! This is like a once in a lifetime opportunity almost, even though it happens usually like mostly once a year, so say, but like 4 movies, you know, when you see 4 movies in one weekend, you know, you just want to get up and feel like a movie king or a movie god. I mean, with 4 movies in one weekend in the summer, you expect great movies that are fun, exciting, well made, just having a good time with it. Now, let me just say this. 75% of the time, that is the case. You'll guess what the 25% is, and you'll guess it very quick. So we got 4 new movies this weekend, which some of it's excited. Well, I'm really excited about it, just not one in particular, and you'll probably know for sure. But, okay, here are the movies that come out, and I want to review them in this order. Red 2, R.I.P.D, Turbo, and The Conjuring. I'm only going to review, and the reason I'm reviewing these in order is because that's how I saw them on the list on the IMDb page. I might have gotten Turbo and R.I.P.D mixed up, but I'm going to review it in that way anyway, so let's get down to it. First movie I want to start off with Red 2. Now, let me just say this first. I really enjoyed the first Red movie. It was very enjoyable, very entertaining, even funny at times. Even though no one really gives a crap about the story plot and all that has to do with it, it's a very fun movie. Just to watch. It's just like a fun popcorn movie to watch and hang out with your friends on a Friday night. This movie is really the same way. I mean, it doesn't really deliver on any standard, but it's still very fun. Like the first, it makes you realize what you liked most about the first movie, is that it's fun and entertaining, and even funny. And let me just say this, you know, the characters like Bruce Willis, John Malkovich, Helen Mirren, they're all playing pretty much versions of themselves. I mean, Bruce Willis is playing old Bruce Willis, John Malkovich is playing his usual quirky self, which is very entertaining, honestly. Helen Mirren, I honestly thought she was a little bit better in the first Red movie than this one, but that doesn't mean I didn't like her in this movie. She's still good in this movie for what she is. Catherine Zeta-Jones, I'm not gonna lie, she's pretty hot in this. Well, she's pretty hot in general. And I really liked her in this movie. You know, she's just really cool. She's just a really cool chick to have around, other than Mary Louise Parker. And when I mean that Catherine Zeta-Jones should have been the role of Mary Louise Parker. I don't have really like a strong hatred towards Mary Louise Parker. I just don't think she's that great of an actress. I mean, I liked her a little bit in this movie. Definitely not as much as I liked her more than what I did in R.I.P.D. for sure. But I mean, she was okay in the movie, but, you know, her persona is just kind of like, can we just kill that person? You know, I want to be a part of you guys. I want to kill people for a living and all that. She just kind of over-exaggerates that a little bit, but that doesn't mean she wasn't bad in this movie. But I feel like, I mean, she's not the best actress in the world. I'm not even kidding. But, you know, it's just kind of on that verge in a sense. But I'm glad that she was not, like, the worst thing in the movie. Which, really the worst thing in this movie is that the fact that nobody cares about the story plot, even though it's supposed to be about this bomb, they're supposed to go rescue it. But the way they build in the action with that is fun. And that's really where the fun comes in to play, is that the fact that they're all the action and the violence and all that, and they're having fun making this movie. That's really where the heart of this movie really comes from. No story, no nothing like that. And when you expect a movie just to be plain fun, you're gonna get what you expect. I mean, I personally don't expect this movie to be good for its story. Yeah, I do expect for some movies I expect there to be a story, but this one, even though there's not really much of a story to play off of, so to say, it's still an enjoyable movie and very likable. And let me get back to the characters. Anthony Hopkins, I thought he was kind of a little weird. I just didn't really feel him in this role that he was in. I think if he got another role or something like that, it would have been a little bit better. But the role that he got in for this one, I just didn't really feel him for that one. Honestly, I liked him better as Hannibal Lecter and Silence of the Lambs and Hannibal Rising and all those other movies. I honestly never knew that there was a whole big franchise about Hannibal Lecter until like 3 years ago. I'm not even kidding. But that's just me. But like I said before, you know, it has fun, exciting entertainment. It felt like at first I was kind of degrading this movie, but like honestly, then I realized at the end I just kind of realized, did you enjoy this movie? I'm like, yes. I had an enjoyable time watching this movie. So it definitely has to get a positive rating, which is a 6. The lowest low of the highest high. However you want to say it. Basically, the point is, I enjoyed this movie, and go check it out. See what you think about it. If you like the first Red movie, you're gonna like this. You're gonna like the second one. It's fun and entertaining. It's what you expect. This is a movie what you expect. Really, everything you expect from just the promos is all in this movie. So go check it out. Now the next one, R.I.P.D. R.I.P.D. I don't know where to begin. Yeah, it's kind of hard to just really talk about this movie, honestly. But if I guess I had to start somewhere, I guess I'll start with the beginning, which is probably the only thing I actually even liked in this movie. Now, the beginning, I mean, it's not the best beginning in the world, but it's one that has to do. And I really like the beginning, like the scene, like in the very beginning scene when they're having their all shootout, you know, big cop conversion, all this thing, and then when you see Ryan Reynolds die, and then the scene where it's like all this, he's like just walking through, and he's just like walking through, and all these cool visual crap is happening. Then he gets sucked in that little wormhole cloud thing in the sky, and then it just goes from there. It really does. I mean, the moment he the moment he gets sucked in that thing, the movie just sucks. The rest of the way. Bad acting, bad script, bad chemistry between characters. Yeah, that's really what this movie is. I mean, okay, let me just say this. When I watched the trailers for the movie, I'm like, at first it's like, oh, it's gonna be good, and then it's like, that looks like it's gonna be pretty dumb. And at best, you know, I mean, I didn't think I would enjoy this movie, which I definitely did not enjoy this movie whatsoever. But I didn't think this movie would be as bad as it was. Whew! It's really hard to describe this movie. It's really bad. It really is. It's just really freaking bad. And, you know, and you see Ryan Reynolds, he gets paired up with Jeff Bridges, and Jeff Bridges is supposed to be this cowboy dude, and it's like, really, out of all the things in this sci-fi-ish type movie, you're gonna go with a cowboy as this sidekick? It's honestly worse than pairing up Armie Hammer and Johnny Depp in the Lone Ranger movie. I'm not saying I didn't hate both of them, so to say, I just didn't like the chemistry between them. But this chemistry between Ryan Reynolds and Jeff Bridges was much worse. And I mean much worse. I mean, you just do not feel anything in this movie. This movie just feels so emotionless. And let me also say this. This movie had a great original idea. I mean, literally. I mean, just a guy who dies and then he gets recruited into this dead police department. I mean, that's a great movie. That's a really original movie. It's kind of like what I said about The Purge. It has a very original story to follow up on, and then it has those elements that just don't work. But in this movie, it has super freaking crappy BS elements that just degrade the movie on such a ginormous scale. I mean, I know it feels like I'm saying that this movie was the worst movie ever made. I was just really disappointed in this movie. And no, this movie's not necessarily like complete dog crap, because it has like a couple of elements that I liked about this movie. But overall, the movie is just really bad and has that stupid, cheesy humor that goes along, supposed to go along with the sci-fi action, and then it even has those cheesy effects. Cheesy effects. When you have cheesy effects in a movie, that's just the most disappointing. I mean, movies like Avatar and The Hobbit, that have such freaking awesome visuals, you know, and then you make a movie like, okay, because Avatar, the movie came out in 2009, and you get 2013, and you're still using the crappiest visuals I've ever seen in a movie. Well, not as crappy as others, but I mean, pretty crappy. But I just didn't like this movie, how all the elements had apparently came together. It was just all bad, from like I said, from characters to screenwriting to chemistry to the elements of the movie to the tone and all that. It really feels like you're going up it feels like, here's my analogy. It feels like when you're going up a roller coaster, you're getting up and you're like so excited and you're just like about to lose your crap, literally, that you're just so excited, you just can't wait to let all your energy out and have so much fun. But then it's like when you get to the very top, and then the ride is like this. Like, you just go up to the top, and it just goes like this the rest of the way. There's no there's not like a huge downhill spiral. And when I mean this in my analogy, I mean like, you're having so much fun, this is where the emotion kicks in and all that. No, it's just like you go up to the very, very top at like 200, 300 feet, and then it's just like, little help. And you're cruising that way the rest of the way. And that's one problem with this movie too. It doesn't get better. It does not get better at all. I could go on this movie for hours and hours and hours about how much I did not like this movie, but I still got 2 other movies to review, so I'm going to finish up my review for R.I.P.D. Let me just say this. Do not go watch this movie. Plain and simple. This movie is just so bad, and I feel like my rating for this movie should probably be a little bit lower than what it is, but then again, when you have a pretty decent when you have a good beginning, and play off of an original idea, you have to give it some credit. But though, it doesn't make up for the movie. So I'm going to use a little decimal system here and give this movie a 1 point... I'll probably give it a 1.9. I think that's fair enough. I feel like I can go lower with this movie and give it a flat out 1. But when you have a good, like I said, a good beginning and a good original idea to base off of, but those bad elements really degrade it, and that's really... Let's move on, shall we? And, okay, let me just say this. We reviewed... I forgot to mention this at the beginning. This weekend, out of the 4 movies, 2 Ryan Reynolds movies and 2 Mary Louise Parker movies, both of them doing R.I.P.D, and then Mary Louise Parker doing Red 2, and then Ryan Reynolds doing Red R.I.P.D and Turbo. And honestly, let me just say, Turbo was way better than this movie, and definitely better than Red 2. In the sense, like, you're going back to this fun animation that people remember, like the fun DreamWorks movies that we can have. This is one of them. This is a great movie to start off with. This is a great movie to enjoy this summer. It is a great animation. It's just fun. And let me just get started by saying this. The story's about the snail who just wants to go fast. There's really no other way to put it around. He just wants to be fast. And definitely you can tell from the trailers, he gets sucked in what I call his Fast and Furious car. I think he probably got sucked in Dominic Toretto's car or whatever, and got in the engine and got nitrogenous oxide, however you say it. I don't know my elements. But anyway, he becomes this super snail, and he's just really fast and all that. And let me just start off by saying, yeah, you got that, and it's like, okay, let's move on with the movie, so to say. But though, when you have great elements like actual good chemistry in a Ryan Reynolds movie, that says a lot. Like, between him and Paul Giamatti, they just kind of like, Paul Giamatti's like, you need to do something special with your life, and all, he's like, he wants to do this, and they're just kind of all like that. And the fact that also there's these 2 Mexicans in this movie that kind of go through that same situation, and the fact that these are all relatable characters. And the fact that Turbo and this one Mexican dude, I think was played by Michael Pena, either that or the other guy who I don't remember his name. They just were, I really like the fact that you can bring in relatable characters, like 2 sections, and then have like half of that kind of split and make a whole. And I really like that about this movie. And I also like the elements that went into this movie, and the fact that it was entertaining. You can get a good feel of this movie. It had a great tone. It was kid friendly and actually pretty adult friendly, and even from my instance, or from my aspect, teenage friendly. And also, I really like the characters in the movie, especially like all the snails that you meet, like Whiplash. Okay, Whiplash was my favorite character of the movie. Like, you talk about like a side character, that's just kind of fun and out there. Samuel L. Jackson, he's a very good actor. I mean, Jules, Pulp Fiction, and Steven from Django Unchained. I mean, I know I'm going off on Quentin Tarantino movies, but those are like my favorite roles of his. But definitely, he was just a great, fun, wacky character in this movie. It didn't even have to make sense, so to say, at parts. It was just really entertaining to watch Samuel L. Jackson just say something on the screen. I really liked him in this movie. He was definitely my favorite character out of this whole movie. This movie does a great storytelling. This movie has great animation, too. And I love it when a movie does great animation, like, has some of that fast-paced animation. Kind of like, if you ever seen Over the Hedge, where Hammy, just kind of going all over the place. It's kind of like that with Turbo's Speed. And it's just entertaining to watch. And plus, the Indy 500 scene, the scene where he's like, sometimes I just think of it as like, oh, they're making a left turn, like Bubba J from Jeff Dunham. But this movie, it's very interesting to watch his Indy 500 race. I really like that. overall, it's a great movie. I definitely recommend going and check this out this weekend. I give this movie an 8. I know that other YouTubers have kind of like, you know, it's a good movie, but it has those plot points in the movies. I don't care. I like this movie. I really like this movie. You can give me so much crap about how this movie's like, oh, it's a generic story, but it is good. I freaking like this movie a lot. So, I'm just saying. And now the last movie of this weekend, which I like to say brings back the horror genre. That is The Conjuring. It is the scariest movie I have seen ever, really. It's just a great, scary movie. I mean, yes, it's based off of an unoriginal storytelling process, but when you have great scares, unlike the ones that you see in the trailer, it is so freaking scary as crap, dude. You will, like, literally crap your pants, wet your pants, piss your pants, whatever. I'm probably gonna get nightmares after watching The Conjuring. It's just so great, and the characters, you know, they're so well, and they can be terrified, you know, and they really work so well. And the director of this movie, James Wan, whatever you want to say, he's just a great horror director. I mean, he does movies like Insidious and other movies that I've seen of his that are actually pretty scary. I think he did Final Destination 1, but honestly wasn't that scary to me. But he really knows how to, like, scare people, how to creep audiences out. Just get that, just have people on the edge of their seats. And I really like that about James Wan. He's just great at what he does in the horror genre. And I really like this movie. It's a short movie. It's a short review for this one. But really all this movie is just a scary good time. And I'm going to give this movie an 8.2. Because I feel like an 8 is actually kind of short. Or, well, not short. Kind of low for a movie like this. I mean, really scary. But yes, it's an unoriginal story. But when you rate this movie for a horror movie for what it is, aside from its original scares that you've seen in the trailers and the promos, you really have to give this movie a whole lot of credit. So that's why I'm going an 8.2. I really never thought I would do decimals in this movie. I don't usually do decimals unless it's like in the halfway mark, but it's really what this movie is to me. Thanks for watching my review, and hopefully go check out Red 2, Turbo, and The Conjuring. I almost forgot them. There's just so many movies this weekend. But definitely do not go see R.I.P.D. unless you've seen these 3 movies and have nothing else better to do with your time. Unless you just really want to rant on this movie, then go ahead, go watch this movie for that. But as always, be sure to like, subscribe, tell all your friends, and also, here's the thing. This next week, pretty much my summer's about to end this next week, because I'm going to be so busy with school stuff, school stuff for, like, band and all that. I'm actually in band. I actually play the baritone, and I'm actually really good at it. I haven't practiced in a while, so I'm probably going to suck when I get back. But I'm going to be so busy this next week and the rest of the summer, and pretty much when school starts, I pretty much won't be able to do, like, videos on weekdays pretty much until probably like Thanksgiving, maybe an in-service day, you know. But if I do a video, I mean, y'all keep requesting me videos what to do, but hopefully I can try to do videos every now and then on the weekdays. For sure, I will do one every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, as long as you guys keep requesting me to do so. But hopefully, but I'm not gonna stop making videos. I work too hard for this crap. I'm gonna keep doing what I love. And hopefully, and I hope y'all appreciate from me doing that as well. And like I said before, be sure to like, subscribe, tell all your friends, and hopefully I will see you sometime either earlier or later on today. Why did I say earlier? Either later on today or hopefully sometime tomorrow. Bye.